Navigating the US-China economic landscape, trade, tech, and tensions. China is the third largest trade partner of the United States of America, behind Canada and Mexico, as the amount of goods the two countries sold to each other dropped by 17% in 2023. Despite the overall decrease in trade, the total value of trade between the USA and China hit an all-time high of over $575 billion in 2023. China is one of the few countries in the world whose exports to the United States are more than their imports, as China purchased items worth $147.8 billion from the United States, while the value of the imports from China was far larger, at $427.2 billion. The United States experienced a $279.4 billion trade deficit as a result. Even with the apparent economic disparity, both countries gain from their trade dynamics. Prices are lower for American customers, and companies profit from having access to the Chinese market. The U.S.-China Business Council's 2022 study showed that trade with China sustains over 1 million jobs in the United States and brings in hundreds of billions of dollars yearly. Furthermore, Chinese investments in the U.S. remain significant, totaling tens of billions of dollars, even though they have decreased due to heightened regulatory scrutiny. However, recent tensions have cast a shadow over this economic symbiosis, as demonstrated by the bipartisan measure introduced in the House of Representatives that would either enforce a national ban or divest TikTok from its Chinese owner ByteDance. The U.S. House of Representatives has moved legislation for a ban on TikTok if the Chinese company does not sell the entity to a company acceptable to the United States. If TikTok is banned in the U.S., China will be getting a taste of its own medicine, as several U.S. tech giants are banned in China that have tried to make it in China. Google, YouTube, X, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, amongst others, social media apps are banned in China because they refuse to follow the Chinese government's draconian instructions on data collection and the type of content shared. Currently, U.S. lawmakers and government officials are suspicious of TikTok's potential national risk, as it could share data with the Chinese government. TikTok has, however, rejected these claims. At the heart of this relationship lies a profound economic interdependence. China's dependence on the United States and its Western allies for technological equipment is not a secret, as China's export-oriented industry is mainly focused on assembling items and selling them economically due to its cheap labor. According to the Economist Intelligence Unit, China's trade deficit in electrical machinery and semiconductor chips has risen from $15 billion USD in 2001 to $217 billion in 2021. The United States was the fourth largest exporter of electricity items and semiconductors to China, only behind China's developed neighbors like Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. A new analysis of trade data reveals that China relies on the U.S. and its allies for over 400 items, spanning luxury goods to crucial raw materials, with at least a 70% dependency. The United States was able to halt Chinese technology manufacturer Huawei from making technological advances by asking its partners, Taiwan's TSMC and South Korea's Samsung, to stop exports of semiconductor chips to Huawei. Data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis reveals that the United States exports of intellectual property to China dwarf Chinese exports to America. China is the largest buyer of America's intellectual property, which amounted to $8.3 billion USD in 2020, compared to the mere $3 million that America spent to buy intellectual rights from China. Beneath China's ostensible economic progress lies a brewing storm as it faced recessionary pressure, economic meltdown, and real estate crumbling. After an initial boom, China's real estate sector crumbled in 2021, and the chaos continues to date. 50% of China's real estate sector, including its two biggest real estate companies, Country Garden and Evergrande, have defaulted as sales have dwindled and loan repayments have resultantly diminished. China's central government is looking for quick fixes, like decreasing interest rates and interfering directly to bail out the defaulting companies. These steps, however, are unsustainable. As of March 2024, China is experiencing its largest inflationary period since the 2008 economic recession, as consumer prices fell for 4 straight months from October 2023 to January 2024. The side effects of deflation in the form of a reduction in salaries and job losses are imminent in the coming months in China. As the United States has a trade of $570 billion USD with China, the economic slowdown in China will have implications for the United States. Firstly, as the Chinese economy slows down, the demand for American products will decrease resultantly, including technology and other equipment, which currently stands at $147 billion. Secondly, the economic slowdown in China will lead to the depreciation of the Chinese yuan, which means the appreciation of other currencies, especially the US dollar. If the US dollar becomes expensive compared to other currencies, the United States will lose its market and exports. When the last time the Chinese economy on slowdown in 2015-16, the US stock market had also declined because of the concerns about Chinese hard lending. The perception of the Chinese economic slowdown and real estate crisis will have consequential impacts on global financial markets, as the Chinese crisis will result in economic meltdown around the world, including the United States. The trade war between the United States and China does not necessarily mean it is negative for both parties, as it provides an opportunity for both countries to diversify their production and technologies. Dubbed as the most consequential bilateral relationship of the 21st century, China has the world's largest population and thus provides cheap labor and products to the world, including the United States. However, the draconian and authoritarian policies such as bans on US companies like X, WhatsApp, and Google, amongst others, resulted in detrimental impacts on the future of China-US trade relations. These Chinese policies led to uneven US-China trade relations, which prompted the US to consider banning certain Chinese companies, such as TikTok, which also posed the threat of sharing user data with the Chinese authorities. The mutual distrust, suspicion, and animosity are self-destructive, and it is required that both countries resolve all their outstanding issues, as it is evidently clear that the destinies of these two economic giants are intertwined and interdependent. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.